Welcome to NFL Nexus. You know, in the NFL, there's a huge difference between building a good team and building a champion. It's a massive gap. Good teams, yeah, they make the playoffs. Champions, though, champions have no weaknesses. And for the Houston Texans, this offseason has been this absolutely fascinating, aggressive, and calculated mission to close that gap. This isn't just about grabbing big names, it's about forging a roster with one single goal in mind: winning the whole dang thing. So today, we're going to dive deep into the championship blueprint that GM Nick Caserio and Coach D'Amico Ryans are putting together piece by meticulous piece. Hey, if you enjoy this kind of breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'd also love your support for the channel. Check out the link in the description for our coloring books. They're great for kids, grandkids, and hey, even for adults. And that quote right there, that is the fundamental shift. That's everything. For years, the Texans were the potential team, the building blocks team, the maybe next year team. Well, you can officially throw all of that language right in the trash. After the season they just had, exploding onto the scene like they did, the message coming out of Houston is loud and clear. The future is right now. They've gone from a cute, promising story to a legitimate AFC juggernaut. This isn't a feel-good story anymore, folks. It's a warning shot to the rest of the league. So how are they actually pulling this off? We're going to break down their whole strategy into 5 key parts. First, we'll look at how this past season was really the spark that lit this fire. Then, we'll get into the aggressive moves they made to beef up the offense. Third, we'll dive into the fascinating domino effect of one key signing on the O-line. After that, we're going to pinpoint the one massive, glaring hole they still have to fill. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to finish off that championship blueprint. Okay, so to really get what the Texans are doing this offseason, you have to rewind and look at the 2024 season. It wasn't just a success, it was a total revelation. It gave the front office this crystal clear picture of what they were great at, and maybe more importantly, it gave them a painful, unforgettable lesson in what their fatal flaws were. That season showed them exactly how close they were, and it basically handed them a map for that final climb to the top. I mean, the contrast of their season tells you the whole story. You see these incredible highs that made the entire league snap to attention, a fantastic 12-5 record, and in the middle of it all, a ridiculous 9-game winning streak that just shut up every last doubter. They looked completely unstoppable. And that dominance was on full display in the wild card round. They didn't just beat the Steelers, they systematically took them apart, 30-6. That was the team everyone thought could go all the way. But then came the cold shower. That 28-16 loss to the Patriots in the divisional round was just a brutal, brutal reality check. It was basically a veteran team giving a masterclass on how to find and exploit a contender's hidden weaknesses. Think about it. In the biggest moments of that game, when Houston absolutely had to chew clock with the run game or give their young quarterback a clean pocket to try and make a comeback, they just couldn't. The Patriots defense bullied them, and it exposed the team's Achilles heel for the whole world to see. And in this league, being close doesn't get you a ring. That loss right there became the #1 lesson for this entire offseason. So, faced with that reality, Nick Caserio didn't just sit on his hands. He didn't cross his fingers and hope for things to get better. He went out and engineered it. He saw the exact problems that ended their season, and he immediately went to work with a very clear, very aggressive plan. Add firepower, add toughness, and add reliability to that offense. The goal was simple: make sure what happened in New England never, ever happens again. And what he did next was just a masterclass in how to build a roster on purpose. It wasn't about one huge, splashy signing that grabs all the headlines. No, it was a series of smart, connected moves. They go out and trade for David Montgomery, a running back who is known for his angry, physical running style. They stabilized the O-line, signing a brand new starting right tackle in Braden Smith. But they also focused on keeping the band together, locking up key guys for their young QB, like tight end Dalton Schultz, bringing back a crucial vet in Trent Brown, and adding even more depth with Foster Moreau. Every single move was a chess piece put on the board to solve a very specific problem. Let's really zero in on that Montgomery trade for a second, because it was so much more than just getting a new running back. It was a philosophical statement. This was the direct answer to that playoff loss. Houston got a guy who is the complete opposite of finesse. Montgomery is a downhill runner who makes defenders pay for trying to tackle him. This wasn't just about gaining yards. It was about imposing their will on the other team, something they flat out couldn't do in January. And it was a brilliant move, too, getting a proven, productive guy without having to break the bank. He's the perfect hammer for an offense that desperately needed one. And nowhere is that deliberate strategy more obvious than in the trenches. See, building an offensive line, it's like putting together a really complex puzzle, and adding just one key player can completely change the entire picture. Signing right tackle Braden Smith wasn't just a simple upgrade. It was a strategic move that sent this fascinating and powerful ripple effect through the entire O-line depth chart. And this is just a beautiful illustration of smart team building. So here's how the dominoes fell. Step 1, you bring in Braden Smith, a tough, durable veteran with over 100 NFL starts. He is now the unquestioned anchor at right tackle, period. That one move then lets you take Trent Brown, who played well last year, and slide him into that super important swing tackle role, which is maybe one of the most underrated, valuable positions on any roster. Right there, you've massively upgraded your depth and your insurance policy. But of course, every upgrade has a consequence. It pushes a young guy like Blake Fisher, a former high draft pick, way on the totem pole and puts him squarely on the roster bubble. One signing and 3 different careers are immediately impacted. That's the business. But let's be perfectly 100% clear about the endgame here. Every dollar they spent, every player they shuffled around, it's all about protecting the crown jewel, the most valuable asset in the entire franchise, CJ Stroud. This is a loud and clear commitment from the front office to give their superstar quarterback the one thing he's been missing: rock-solid, dependable stability from his offensive line. And it's about so much more than just preventing sacks. It's about giving him the confidence to just stand tall in that pocket, go through his reads, and let his incredible talent do the rest. They are building a fortress so their king can go out and win them a championship. Okay, so the offense has been systematically upgraded. They've added the hammer in the backfield. They've fortified the wall up front. Things are looking good. But a championship roster, it's a delicate ecosystem. You can't just fix one side of the ball and call it a day. And as great as all these offensive moves are, there's still one massive, gaping hole on the other side of the ball that threatens to undermine all of this progress. It's a hole that could be the one thing that holds this team back from true greatness. And that really is the multi-million-dollar question for this front office, isn't it? What is the one missing piece of the puzzle? They've done a phenomenal job of raising the floor of this team, right? They're going to be a tough out for anybody. But the championship ceiling, that's still being held down by one specific critical vacancy right in the heart of their defense. And that hole is at the 3-technique defensive tackle position. Now, if you're not a huge line play nerd, let me tell you, this is not just some big body you plug in the middle. A true elite 3 technique is a game wrecker. This is the guy who lines up in the gap between the guard and the tackle, and his entire job description is to create absolute chaos. They collapse the pocket from the inside so the quarterback has nowhere to step up. They demand double teams, which frees up your edge rushers one-on-one. They are the engine of a truly dominant defense. I mean, just think of the havoc guys like Aaron Donald or Chris Jones cause. That's the kind of transformative impact we are talking about. And here's why that is so important. Without that threat pushing up the middle, even a great defense is vulnerable against the best quarterbacks. We saw it against New England. When your superstar edge rusher, a guy like Will Anderson Jr., gets chipped by a running back or gets double-teamed by the tackle and a tight end, a good quarterback can just take one step up into a clean pocket and have all day to pick you apart. An interior pass rusher, he takes away that space. He's the guy who prevents the quarterback from climbing that ladder. He makes life an absolute nightmare for quarterbacks, and by doing that, he makes every single guy on his defensive line better. Which brings us to the final and most crucial piece of this entire puzzle. The Texans, under DeMeco Ryans, they've successfully built their swarm identity on defense. It's all about speed, tenacity, flying to the football. It's awesome. But every great swarm needs a queen bee, right? A centerpiece that the entire hive revolves around. This last move, it's about finding that centerpiece and finally completing the championship blueprint, once and for all. Oh man, I love this quote. It just perfectly captures the beautiful symmetry of what this team needs. They found their hammer on offense with David Montgomery, the guy who's going to punish defenses and wear him down for 4 quarters. Now they need the anvil for the defense. They need that immovable, dominant, destructive force in the middle that the entire offense has to game plan for on every single snap. He's the rock that the opposing offense just crashes against in breaks. And let's not downplay the stakes here, because this coming season in Houston is not about just making the playoffs. This roster's too good for that. Trying to get by with just a rotation of guys or just hoping someone on the roster develops a defensive tackle is a gamble they absolutely cannot afford to take. Finding a high-end interior disruptor to pair with Will Anderson Jr. is the move that takes this defense from being great to being potentially historic. It is quite literally the difference between being a good team that wins its division and becoming an elite team that can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow in January and win a Super Bowl. So we're left with this one tantalizing thought. The foundation? It's set. The franchise quarterback? He's in place. The offensive weapons are loaded. The coaching and culture are strong. They have built a juggernaut on paper, meticulously addressing almost every single need.
But as they stand right on the doorstep of greatness, is one more big swing, one more dominant force to wreck things from the inside? Is that the final move that will finally bring a Lombardi trophy to the city of Houston? The rest of the league is definitely waiting and watching to find out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.